والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Sahaba, they came out in one of the many ma'arik, one of the many battles the Nabi took place, or he took part in. In fact, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is Nabi Malahim, he is a Nabi of massacres and slaughtering. And in one of these occasions, the Sahaba, they saw one man, and he be described in the hadith, they said he never saw any enemy, except he fought him and he killed him. And they said none of us were like him this day. And when they found him dead on the battlefield, they said, Shaheed. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he heard, he said, Huwa fi nar. This is in the hellfire. In his last moments, the niyyah become confused for him, and shaitan misled him. And in another riwayah, there is also another man who came in the battlefield. He fought so bravely on the shirk, he was a mushrik, and wanted to fight on the side of the Muslims, just because of his own tribe. That's why the niyyah, it is something nobody can ever neglect. Imam Ahmad and Imam Abi Dawood, they commented on a number of hadiths, and in particular they said that the whole deen is based on 4 hadiths. Some said 5 hadiths. But they said the number one they mentioned was, Inna a'malu bin niyat. Said verily, every single action is by intention. And some ulama said from the Salaf, if I was going to write any book, I would start with Hadith Umar, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Every action by intention. And the niyyah, ya akhi, it is something shaitan will come to you and try and mislead you at the most crucial moments. That's why niyyah being understood in one of 2 ways. النوعين. The first one called niyyah, the ulama said is tamyiz fil ibadat or adat. They said the niyyah can be in distinguishing between the wajibat or any ibadat, or even in the natural habitual actions. So somebody comes to pray Salat al-Asr or Salat al-Dhuhr. What's the difference, ya akhi? Both silent, the only difference is the niyyah. But there's also another meaning, which is to be sincere for Allah's sake. And this is how being described in the Quran. In many occasions Allah He used ibtigha, they're searching, they're hoping, they're wishing for, about the niyyah. That's why sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the hadith, he said every single action is by the niyyah. That's why somebody, when he's in the da'wah or when he's in the jihad, he's doing the good deeds and shaitan will see him. And wallahi ya akhi, shaitan is the open enemy. He will see you in the ibadah, he will see you in the da'wah and the jihad, and he will come to you at that time and said, MashaAllah, you're the one. And this is called ajib nafs. Someone who becomes pleased with his own self. And he will look to himself with ayn kamal, with the complete looking. MashaAllah, I'm so good. MashaAllah, she's so nice. To herself she says. So we'll come to him in the good deeds and says to him, you're so good. Whereas the believer, he said, no, I'm so many weaknesses inside myself. So many naqa'is, so many defects that I always need to be struggling and improving myself. And it's jihad nafs. Jihad in the ibadat, to push myself to do my salat properly, to do my jihad properly, ma'aruf properly, to support the mujahideen properly. And always say to himself, I'm not doing enough. You pray Qiyam al-Layl, MashaAllah, you're not doing enough. This type of mentality, not MashaAllah, Ahl Qiyam al-Akhi. Rather said, maybe he saw Qiyam al-Layl, he read only some small ayat and surah. Maybe I should push myself more. So the niyyah is so complicated. And Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah, he said the hardest thing I ever faced is always jihad in the niyyah, always fighting against my niyyah to make sure it's sincerely for Allah's sake. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَلِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَّى. And for every single son of Adam, every man, what he has his own niyyah for. What does that mean, ya akhi? This hadith has been misunderstood by many. Someone he come outside, he joined the police in the UK, or in America, or in Denmark, or in anywhere with Dar Kufr, where Islam not implemented. He said, Ya akhi, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. He said, verily, he could verily is only add as well. It's the old English. Verily, all actions are by niyyah. So my niyyah when I work for the police, or when I work for MI5, or when I work for the British Army, is good niyyah. I need to feed my family. وَانْفِقُوا. Allah ordered us to feed our families. الرِّجَالُ قَوْمَ عَلَى النِّسَاء. Allah said the men have authority among women because they spend. So I need to work, ya akhi. And the Nabi said the best action, it is to work. But the best money, best visit you eat, you work from your own hands, your own sweat. So I work. So he complicated Ramadan, or mix Ramadan and Sha'ban, become working for the kafir in their own quwwah, their own power, their own nar. Against the Muslims, become good deeds. Because ya akhi, amal bin niyat. Like the woman, she's raqqas, she's a dancer, she goes, I do good niyyah, ya akhi. For the Muslim community to give sadaqah. We don't need to sadaqah. Imam Ahmad, he said the whole deen revolves around a number of hadiths. He said, إِنَّمَا الْعَبْنِيَاتِ hadith of Umar. And secondly, كُلُّ عَمَلٍ لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرُنَا فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Any action not based on our teachings, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is completely rejected. Marfood, excuse me. Completely rejected. Rejected meaning what? There are two conditions for any actions. First one, النية خالص لله. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا يَعْبُدُونَ مُخْلِصِينَ. To worship Allah exclusively with the full ikhlas. This the niyyah. That means the internal, al-a'mal al-batini, the internal actions, mean sincerely for Allah. I pray for Allah's sake, for people to see. He gave money for mujahideen for Allah's sake. He called for Allah deen for Allah's sake. This inside the heart. And no one knows a'mal al-qulub except Allah. But the second condition for any action to be accepted must be in accordance with the sunnah of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nobody said niyyah is enough. Have good niyyah prostitute. Have good niyyah sell drugs. But for the Islam, ya akhi. For the Muslims, for the mujahideen. No. Or I work with the police. For the sake of the Muslim community. And shaitan, his only quwwah is what, ya akhi? The ayah said, in the kayda, the shaitan, or the kayda, the plots of shaitan, kind of da'if, weak. But the only thing he has is the waswasa. It is to call you. He will say to you, what you're doing is good deed for the sake of Islam. For the sake of the Muslim community. They give us bad image. We need to improve the image of Islam. Become police, become MPs, become soldiers in the army killing Muslims, but with good niyyah for Allah's sake. Allahu Akbar. Verily, the niyyah is so complicated and so simple. The niyyah for Allah alone. Mean all your ibadat, all your adat, do for Allah alone, you get the reward. So that's inside the heart. The second issue we said, the second hadith, كُلُّ عَمَلٍ لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرُنَا فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Any action not based on our teaching is rejected. And this is why all of these who become police, MPs, MI5, special branch, they join the armies, they completely fall down. Because the actions will be accounted for. And they must be in accordance with the Sharia. If not in accordance with the deen of Islam, completely rejected, will be haram and sin. And that's why you find many of those inside the UK in particular, who work with the police, the traitors, khawana, the ones who spy on Muslims, and the ayah said, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا. Even though the ayah clear cut, they still stop spying on Muslims, they raid Muslims' houses. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he talked about the one, you know the one, he peeping Tom? He liked to look and see what's going on. He said this one here, if you remove his eye, there's la diya, there's no blood money. To remove his eye, or to stone him, the one who looked through your window. That's why some Muslim, adab, he come to your house. Assalamu alaikum. He done the sunnah. Assalamu alaikum. He opened the letterbox today, or he looked here to see, on the awrat. Hadith said the one who removed his eye, there's no blood money. What about the police? His job is to put bugs inside your house, in your bedroom, to spy on you what you're doing. PC Ahmed and PC Yahya. But there's no Yahya and there's no Ahmed who work with police. Yahya, of course. Yahya, Mama, all of these like this, ya akhi. But there's no Ahmed and there's no Yahya. He works with the kuffar. A man will share from his own name. Umar, Ali, Uthman, Muhammad. They never work with police. They never work with intelligence. They never work with kuffar. Bob, Sally, Sharon, Michelle, George, they work with the kuffar because they are kafirs, brother. That's why the awliya of shaitan are the kuffar. They are the enemies of Allah. How come? Inna Allah aduwan lil kafirin. Surah Baqarah. If Allah is their enemy, and Allah said in the ayah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, That's why the Sahaba, look at this ikram. When they hear this word called to them, the believers, Allahu Akbar. Allah gives a ni'mah Islam. The ayah address us. Allah said, لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء. He said, oh my believers, those who believe in Allah. He said, don't take my enemies and your enemies awliya. Their enemies or their allies of each other. It's us and them. That's why George Bush, he said, you're either with the terrorists or you're with us. I'm convicted terrorist, alhamdulillah. So it's easy for me to choose. But you're either with the kuffar or with the believers, the reality. So the niyyah, ya akhi, it is something, shaitan will come to you and will always push you and fight you in the niyyah. That's why there's someone who have this feeling of the confusion, just make isti'adha, and again, redo his niyyah in his heart, and continue fi sabilillah, and Allah will guide him and assist him. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ, and continue in the good deeds, continue in the ibadah, continue in the struggle to make Allah deen dominant, and Allah will assist you. That's why this life, it is a long journey. It is a long journey of hardship and struggling, but the victory for the believers will be the ghalaba for Islam. Wallahu ghalib ala amri, and Allah's deen will be victorious. The only question is, what part did you play in this victory? Because the victory, always said, doesn't mean in the dunya. Victory could be to go to prison and spend your life behind bars, but to be firm on la ilaha illallah. Victory could be mean to kill pieces on la ilaha illallah. And victory can also be in the dunya to have complete domination of Islam. That's what they said, our adhan, the adhan of the Muslims used to be inside the ma'abid, in the old temples of the Franks, the Europeans. I mean, it's hid adhan where? In Spain, in Barcelona, in some parts of Marseille, in some parts of France, used to be the adhan heard when there was the Sharia implemented. That's why the Khilafah, brother, it is the obligation of the time with the jihad, is one of the ways. But the Khilafah, one of the objectives, will not be established, will be completely different reality for many of those kuffar. Wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. He said, Ahmad bin Hanbal and Imam Abi Dawood, he said the hadith of the deen, it revolves around a number of hadiths. They mentioned in Al bin Niyat, whoever does action based on our teachings. And the second one said, Al-halalu bayin. The third one, Al-halalu bayin wal-haramu bayin. Halal so clear and the haram so clear. Hadith continues. Ya akhi, al-halal bayin is allowed to see the aura of the Muslim, to strip search him, is allowed to break his door down, is allowed to frighten his wife and children, is allowed to take the believer away from his own family, is allowed to spy on Muslims, is allowed to support the kufr law, is allowed to be a soldier of Fir'aun's army. Is it allowed? Al-halalu bayin wal-haramu bayin. Even child will say to you, no brother, it's not allowed. Even some child, mashallah, said, no, the one he does say is a kafir, ya akhi. Somebody's real good child. Who will understand different than this? That's why they said the haram and ithmu ma haqa fi sadr. Said the haram and the sin, you feel inside the heart, ya akhi. So clear. Someone don't need to be alim to know not allowed to fight against Muslims. Someone doesn't need to be alim or muta'allim to know it's not allowed to spy on Muslims. Rather, those chamche who work with the British authority, British Raj mentality from Nawab system, in the Raj system inside India. They come with sign, bowing down to the kuffar to please them for some measly benefits. £26,000 they pay someone to lose his deen to become police. 26 measly £1,000. Yeah, you know in the Jannah, hadith in Jannah there's a khayma, in Al-Mas, there is a tent or a room, khayma is tent, from is like a diamond, mujawwaf, hollowed out diamond. That's just one of the houses, ya akhi. Cement, the cement is from what? From misk. And the bricks from gold. You will sell all that for £26,000 before tax. Allahu Akbar, ya akhi. He will sell the dunya, the Jannah, for nothing. Because if someone offer you 5p or 5 billion to sell Jannah, it's all the same. Because it's the dunya. And the dunya, ya akhi, mal'oon. Nothing in it of any value except the good deeds. So whenever you see somebody, make sure to spread the word. The believer, he's one of those jundullah. He's a soldier of Allah. He's someone standing for Allah Deen, caller to Allah Deen, ambassadors of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has no time to be in the army of Fir'aun against Musa alayhi salam, or the army of Namrud against Ibrahim alayhi salam, or the people of Lut against Lut alayhi salam. No. Because there are also the Metropolitan Police homosexual organization. Of course. Kuffar, ya akhi. They have all their ajibi behavior. The believer, he will never be with the kuffar. He will be the believers, standing firm, calling for Allah Deen. Today is Jum'ah, and Allah ordered us in the ayah to make salat on the Rasulullah sallallahu Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid. My brothers, the khutbah about niyyah. Perfect your niyyah, inshaAllah. Allah will support you.